Hello, everyone. I'm back for another episode. Interracial relationships, dating, sex, and marriage. Um, I am your humble host, Easton Fabian Morgan III. And uh, I saw from last week's episode that I did from, the intro and then, of course, the first episode. There were some viewers. I mean, when you're at zero, you can only go up, right? Only one direction. So, I think that was pretty good. Uh, anyway, um, when I got done broadcasting my last episode there, I started thinking about other people's experiences. I'll watch other people's podcasts. I do YouTube surfing all day and consume content. Right now, I think I'm watching Anton Daniels' channel and Lapeef Network and Just Pearly Things and uh, I think the Angry Man podcast. There's some things out there. I think there's some like red pill content. That's what they call it. So I believe it's about kind of taking back masculinity and kind of I believe it to be dealing with the dynamics of tradition people, women who say they want a traditional relationship in a modern era. So it's just really interesting back and forth. But how I bring it back to interracial relationships is that 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 dynamic seems to be it's not missing, but it's not the subject matter, right? I've occupied this space for the subject matter, but the stuff that's in the red pill content, it applies, but in everyone's unique experiences, everyone has their own set of traditional values that they bring to the table in any new relationship, even friendships, right? Um, for myself, my father's Jamaican. He comes from Jamaica. So from Jamaica, he's he brings with him his culture, his language, his music, his food. Uh, you know, in some ways, his religion as well. I mean, I don't think. I mean, he's not Rasta, right? He doesn't have that kind of ideology. But y- you know, they don't make. Let me just say this: they don't make a lot of men like him these days. I mean, I'll say that. He's very old school, very set in his ways. The modern, it can be any year, he'll still be the same. He's not one of those men that just you know it, you'll never get him to change his mind once he's set his idea, once he's held a belief. Let's just say that. And most older people are like that. I mean, once you have a strong core of convictions and beliefs that you um, carry with you as that get you through life, lived experiences. Why would you want to shake that? You don't just drop that like a, you know, like a hot, skillet. It's a part of you. So it defines who you are and who you've always been. It's principles, and um, a lot of younger people right now are missing that principles. Um, and it's not just to point the finger on like younger people, because we were younger at some point and we were indecent at some point. Uh, I guess the difference is just maybe social media, the social media aspect. I say social media because in my day, the olden days where we wanted to tell a girl we liked her, we actually had to do it. Or if it was easier to just text, we actually wrote it down on a piece of paper, passed it to a friend, passed it to someone she knew, and then she would pass it to her. That's kind of how we sent texts in my day. Wrote notes. Hey, do you have a boyfriend? Hey, are you single? Hey, I thought you and homeboy were together, what happened, and then now she'll either do the reply will either be one of two things. It'll be, the whole story, which is 2, 3 sheets of paper, or it'll be, I don't want to talk about it, or let's talk after class. But anyway, I seriously digress. um, when I grew up, when I was growing up, I hate to talk about myself all the time, but until we have some other people to talk and to talk about, it'll just probably be me. But in my time, um, growing up in junior high and in elementary school, um, it, I guess being a boyfriend wasn't really appealing. I mean, most young boys and most young men, girls have the cooties until, um, I would say maybe until they start like developing body parts. Then all of a sudden, like I believe it's the cooties we want, so go figure. But um, anyway, but I wasn't really growing up. I wasn't really the attractive guy. I'll say that. I mean, that's I mean, that's I mean, it is what it is. But there are. I'm average to below average, I believe. I mean, I'll just kind of rank myself there. But this was all in school. This was all in elementary school. This was all in junior high. This was all in um, high school. I wasn't really the cool kid, but I had a cool sister. So since my sister was cool by approximation, I was kind of cool. But I mean, what are you gonna do? You have a cooler sibling, and they're known, and you're not. You're gonna milk and play that for all of its worth. But yeah, uh, I I wasn't I didn't have a lot of experiences dating in during school. The few experiences I did have were with women that I kind of didn't want to be with. Um, it was all kind of um, maybe it was too mature for me at the time. Maybe I can say that. Maybe it's hey, this guy is single, he's available, he's tall, he is not in any sports. He's available. Um, Everyone else is dating right now and having boyfriends right now, so why not him and lock him up or something like that. I don't know exactly what the thinking was, but I remember that that was kind of the thing going on back then in the junior high school that I attended. In this was Fairbanks, Alaska, by the way. So shout out to my Fairbanks, Alaska people out there. But up there was a different culture. So let me explain this because I lived in Fairbanks, Alaska for like 5 years, and people look at me a little cross-eyed when I say that because not many. I mean, how many black men do you know? I mean, yeah, I'm from Fairbanks, Alaska. I've been living there for the last 5 years. Da, 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 da. Not many. So having been one, I still do have a lot of friends that I talked to that lived in Alaska for a while and have moved out and moved on, gotten jobs, had kids, have families. So I still keep up with some of them here and there, and uh, we reminisce about good old days and this and that, but now that we're all adults and we have children of our own, it's kind of easier to talk to them about what really happened when way back when you start catching up with old school friends. They're like these little like informational secrets that maybe they weren't supposed to tell anybody and it's supposed to go to the grave, but I mean, you're 40 something, you got kids, and then the secret that you had was probably stupid anyway, so you get to find out, who maybe did have a thing for you, who didn't, who would have been available. You start really knowing the real story after you have like 22 years of like clarity, post graduation clarity of, now you're a fully functioning adult. So it's kind of, I mean, the point, it's still the early years of your life in school are the most formative, right? As an adult, the one that got away, the one that broke your heart, your first love, your last, maybe even your wife that you wound up having a family and children with today. And there are a couple of couples that I know that are like that, that made it out, kind of got married, kids did the family thing. So I try and keep up with them, every once in a while, drop a note, happy birthday, things like that. But I mean, now that I have this podcast, I wanted to invite them into this space because in Fairbanks, Alaska, there was quite a lot of interracial dating up there. And the difference between up there and down here in the lower 48 states, as we call it, is the fact that not you don't get a lot of the social pressure of interracial dating, the rigid, like, the nasty rigid rejection isn't as um either harmful or doesn't feel as bad or just isn't exerted as much. And my theory for that is because if anyone has a map, Alaska is above Canada, so we're talking about extreme cold, right? Very extreme cold. We're talking. I'm living in there. -60. Coldest I ever got for me was -60. I mean that's way past. I mean it's literally what's cool. It never ends, and you keep doing it 1,000 times. Getting hot water and throwing it in the air and then watching it shatter to the ground as ice. That never gets old. Um, I don't know the magic of physical science, right? In your environment. But the point being that interracial dating in high school was kind of common and more common than not. So, I mean, it didn't freak me out or anything, but I guess it took me aback because if you're growing up in Texas, I grew up in Texas. You do have like social pressures here. You do have a lot of racism here. You do have a lot of like cross-eyed looks here when you're like either with a Latina or anyone just pretty much dating outside of your race. Let's just say that dating outside of your race gets you a lot of like nasty looks and stares, like down here, either in Texas or maybe in some of the southern states as well, or maybe it's just everywhere. But oh, and maybe with the exception of California, who knows? But in Alaska, I really didn't feel like I, I didn't feel as judged harshly for the interracial interests that I had in women when I lived up there than as I did down here, which is what I'm really trying to say. And it kind of changed my point of view on relationships as a whole, right? We both, I mean, men and women meet and they get together based on, the environment, the social circumstances, um, uh, situational events, like people grow close, right? So, especially in school. In school, you attend class every day, or you're in an institution with a lot of people. You walk around the halls every day. You know whose locker is which one, and you know who has what period. you start to learn a lot about different people, right? It's an environment. I mean, social networking environment, the first one and probably the most important one you'll ever have. So, as a younger man, I start noticing women, so in my junior high days, I noticed a few women that were starting to develop, of course. And this, like, development, I mean, grabbed my attention. I mean, subtle, but yet not so subtle, right? It's not like I, shoot my shot with any of these women. It's just that I just like looking at them. I mean, a man can appreciate like a curvy shape. It's just, I mean, it's just how I'm made anyway as an individual. Men, tend to like different things, but I find myself along those lines of liking curvy women. But back then, I was very shy. Um, I'm I am a classic case introvert back then. I didn't talk to many women, and they had to be the first ones to make an approach. They had to be the one to say something. They had to be the one to break the ice, and once they did, that's it. The conversation on lines of communications are very open. I mean, I guess when you're out of your element, when you're moving from one place to another, away from all your friends, I mean, you kind of close yourself off. I mean, you miss your home. You don't know where you are. You don't know who these people are, and it takes a while. So anyway, I let my guard down. Let people in, teachers, my other classmates. Um, talk to people and um, got to know them, and we have a lot of the same interests, but when it comes to relationships, they move through the world completely different than I do. I mean, they're able to ask a girl out, "Hey, I really like you," this and that, and able to maybe start in a relationship. And me, myself, I'm like, "Yeah, I like this girl," but it always had to be someone else doing the talking for me. That's how shy I was. I always had to go to this girl's either friend or friend of a friend or proxy in order to get to the girl that I actually liked. And I guess no girl really liked it, was really attracted or turned on by me doing that. But it's just I just I really wasn't ready to communicate directly to a woman. I mean, or a girl my age. Not back then. I mean, now things are different. Now things are, hey, how you doing? And there are things you can say. You can at least say a casual hello. I'm starting to use that a lot more now. Just a casual hi or hello. And then just keep it moving. And then if I have something else I want to say, then I can just work it in behind my hello, how are you doing? Hey, you got Thanksgiving coming up, but you got no plan. There are things to talk about. Every month has pretty much every month has a holiday. You can talk about holidays and a bunch of icebreakers, things like that. But back then, being as shy as I was, it was no wonder I really didn't have any relationships or relationship experience. Even though I liked plenty of females in school and they liked me, I never really took to like being a boyfriend, doing the boyfriend thing, taking her hand, walking her to class. And now, actually, let me take that back. I did do these things. It's just I never had a real title. I mean, this is my boyfriend. He's my never had that. And I think that's not really on any woman that wanted to be with me. It was just on me not being ready to call myself a boyfriend to anybody. Now I'm a lot more open to relationships and things like that. But back, you never forget like your childhood experiences. No, you just don't. They do define who you are. They do. Um, Still mess with you, here and there, but, I mean, you're an adult, you get over it, but, you learn from your mistakes one way or another, right? what you should not have done and what you should have done. I mean, you only get, one chance to kind of make that first impression. But if there's no impression at all, then you're invisible. But anyway, like I was saying, through high school, I moved out of Fairbanks, Alaska, and back to San Antonio, Texas. This was, I believe, 1997. I want to say 1997. Um, and then I went to high school back here in San Antonio, Texas, for a while. So that was an experience. But during that summer, I got myself a girlfriend during camp, back when I was like a 15, getting ready to turn. Yeah, being this was me being 15. I wasn't able to drive yet. So I used to be a part of a teen center, and that was kind of diverse. Um, we had a bunch of us teenagers go to a place to hang out and do a bunch of teenage stuff. Watch videos, music videos, watch movies. Aladdin was big back then. Monsters Inc. or whatever, Toy Story. I don't know. There are a bunch of um, Power Rangers was big back then. I want to rename all the things I never watched or used to watch, but I don't want to go in, back then because that's not really the point. But the point was, it was a nice little hangout where all of the teenagers within the vicinity of the Air Force Base I used to visit um, uh, hang out at. So just explaining the story, just connecting that quick thought. When I flew back from Fairbanks, Alaska, back to San Antonio, Texas, I lived on an Air Force base on the south side of San Antonio. For the natives out there, you'll know which base I'm talking about. I mean, it's no longer our base anymore. It's a city base now, but back when it was a military base, we lived in housing on base for a few months, and I got to know the kids there, the teens there. So it's weird when you're the new guy and you're like, hey, this is a new teenager, and it's me and my sister, but my sister's not the one to run outside. It's me. So it was nice getting to know everyone's name, where everyone lived, their siblings and relatives. It was really kind of a family atmosphere. But we were a diverse crowd, and um, as teenagers do, we started hooking up with other teenagers. So I had my I I hooked up with three, I guess. The first one, make that four. The first one, she was older than I was by, I want to say, 2 years. So this older white chick, 2 years older than me. I'm 15. I think she's 17, 17 turning 18. So she is already kind of like a young adult, right? At least. But I am still just, kind of an immature kid. I'm thinking about getting my license to pick up chicks. I'm not thinking about chicks right now. And with me not having that kind of like sex appeal of the football player or the jock or the basketball player, or as much swags as your rapper or your dancer or whatever you want to call it, I was kind of surprised. I'm looking at it now, but she was into me like hardcore into me, ready to take my virginity kind of into me. So she was I mean she was sexually active. I wasn't. So I would at the time I wasn't really picking up what she was putting down. Like she wanted to be alone with me. We had a bed, we had some time, but it never. What am I gonna? I don't know I don't know the first thing of what to do or how to handle a woman who's alone with what? Do what? So it threw me off guard. But so that was a fail on my part. The second girl that I wound up kind of getting with was was a model. She is a model now, and I believe an actress. But she was a model even when she was a teenager. She did some modeling. Um, she was very cute. Her and her sister, I think, were both blondes. Um, she was into me because I wasn't really intimidated by her. I mean, whatever that means, right? I'll crack a joke on her real quick, but I do I did always I really liked her. We were never together, even though we probably should have been. Um, uh, Her sister was shorter than she was and was bigger than she was, like developed. So I was into her sister more than I was into her. She never knew that. And they're sisters, so it's just all messy. So I mean, what were you gonna do? So, I mean, I can elaborate on that more, but basically, I gave this girl who was into me a massage, lotioning her up in the sun, as it were, on a nice, sunny, warm afternoon. And um, her sister, though, who she feels wasn't as hot or as pretty, like she knew that she had my attention. She knew that I was into mostly her, but the problem was the men that come in their lives, they always choose her sister. She's the pretty one. No one likes me. I'm the fat, ugly one. I mean, and there was no, and there's just this hostility, and it's just like, yeah, it's like, yeah, you think you're into me, but you're really not. And, I'm like, no, I'm into you. But, you can't, once a woman develops like a wall and, hostility and defenses, it's kind of hard to work your way past that. So, moving on to the other girl that I hooked up with. She was a friend of mine. She was his half sister. I mean, they all lived together, but they were half sister and brother. So sh I really wasn't aware why she took an interest in me, except for the fact that I was her half brother's friend. I'm going over the house all the time, and we're playing video games, and we're talking about, it's like we're talking about cartoons, we're talking about movies, we're talking about school, we're talking about other chicks, and she always comes into the room like he's always mad, like, what do you want? What do you want, Bella? You know, she's like, "Nothing. I just wanted to see what you guys were doing." I'm like, "Yeah, we're hanging out." She would never come in the room otherwise, but when I'm in there, she's got to see me. So I was into her. I don't know. I was sorta. I mean, But her sister. So again, with the sister, the shorter, the thicker sister, I really didn't like her, and she didn't like her. The short, that's thicker sister did not like her taller, skinnier sister having a dude. So, I mean, they go everywhere together, and we're trying to be alone together for 5 minutes, and it was a nightmare. But then the fourth girl I hooked up with wound up being my girlfriend. So, um, she's short. Well, she doesn't have any sisters. She only has a brother. Um, that relationship lasted that lasted a pretty good minute, I want to say. We didn't meet, but we actually hooked up at this camping trip. So I'll tell you about the camping trip because it's just what else are we going to talk except interracial relationships. So this is how my interracial relationship started. So we went on a camping trip, right? On a bus. Um, get to the campsite. We walk around, go to the trail, da, da, da. And I believe it's from a Saturday to Sunday, so it's kind of like we're all leaving the next morning or something like that. No, no, Friday to Sunday. So we're getting there Friday, spending the whole time Friday, spending the night, spending the whole day Saturday over there, walking around, and then coming back Sunday as soon as we wake up. So that's the plan. So Friday, this girl that I wind up making my girlfriend, she's with this other guy. And this other guy is on, her and him, they're on the bus together. Da 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 da. We're riding the bus, and I'm like, I'm into her, but she's just always up under that fool. So my friends, they're like, yo, man, you need to just go for it, shoot your shot, as it were. You need to just like tell her you like her, and maybe she'll just dump that fool for you or something. So, um, we get there. There are other teenagers from other Air Force bases that join our teen center group. So homeboy decides to dump this chick, right? The girl I'm interested in. He decides to dump this chick. Don't know how. I mean, just I guess out of the blue. And the story was that he was interested in being single because he had his eye on some other girls that he may have wanted to get with, and he didn't want to be tied to her because it's like, well, I may get these other chicks, so these other teens are hotter than you are, and I want to shoot my shot with them, and da da da. So because I felt this way about this girl, word came directly back to me. They were like, yo, east, east, oh, east, 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 east. Yo, man, you ain't gonna believe it, man. You ain't gonna believe it. You ain't gonna believe it. Yo, man, oh, girl, she's single, bruh. I'm like, wait a minute, what? Yeah, dude. Her dude just like left her, just up and left her. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm like, are you serious? You playing? Like, nah, dude, yeah, dude, he like freaking dumped her. Cause he's trying to get some with some other chicks. Like the from there from them there's some from over here, from over there. He's trying to like he's trying to get with these other chicks. So he like dumped her, dude. I'm like, what? All right, okay, okay. So like so of course the next question. All right, man, how you gonna play this? How you gonna do this? You gonna go over and talk to her or what? You gonna tell her? You gonna rap to her? You gonna do something? I mean, like she's available. She's here. Like now, this is it. Now's the time. This is the place. Do it. Go talk to her, man. Get that. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, maybe she feels really bad for being dumped, and maybe she needs some time to process. As a teen. I was a big simp, a big fool back then. Not so much now. You have to excuse the noise. We got some racers in our area. I'm like my house is near the highway, so what are you gonna do? But so word gets back to me that this girl's available, and I got a friend named Mario, and uh, and Mario, since he knows how much I like this girl, he instigates everything. He's like, man, don't blow this, man. Don't you do it. So he goes up to her and he's like, yo, man, you just want me? Hey, man, you want me to hook it up? I'll hook it up for you, bro. I'll hook it up. Hey, I'll hook it up. I'll just go over there, tell her like how you feel about her, or tell you like that you like her and this and that, and then see what's up, man. See what's up. See what's good. So, so my friend Mario and his other friend, our other friend, they go and they make these arrangements. How they do it. So, then they come back to me later. They tell me, hey, she might be into you too. I'm like, you told her? Like, I can't believe you freaking told her. I was all, kind of frustrated and angry and scared and kind of like, I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you did. He's like, yo, man, just chill, man, chill. We got you. She's thinking about it. I'm like, so, I'm like, what'd you say? I was interested, that. But I went to he's like, yo, man, just go in the tent. He's like, yo, man, trust me, just go in the tent and then just chill out and relax. Go in the tent, go in that, go in our tent. So I go in the tent and I'm just chilling and just listening to music and on my MP3 player. Mm. And and then, look who walks in, Amanda my that girl walks in, right? So she's like, hey, hi. And I'm like, hi. So she talks to me and she's like, hey, Mario said I should talk to you and he said that you were into me and that you liked me and I didn't believe him and he kept telling me, no, I'm serious. He does. He wants to he's been like he loves you like hardcore, like you were always with Corey, but he's always like wanted you and this and that. Like ask him, just ask him. But so she comes in and she's like, yeah, Mario said you really liked me and um I wanted to know if it was true. I didn't really believe him, I mean, because I never see you like say anything. So I'm like, yeah, I didn't say anything, but yeah, it was right. It was true. It's like, oh, okay, well, I have to apologize to him later because I thought he like threw something at him because I thought he was full of it. So we got to talking for a while, and then after talking, um, I think I asked if it was okay if I kissed her, and she said yes. And then we wound up kissing, and then we wound up like kind of making out for like a good minute, and then after that, like we were together. So um, we did everything together. After that point, got out of the tent, holding hands, talking, still talking. Every activity that we had to do, we did it together. Um, the ex-boyfriend who dumped her, he was still single. He probably played out every branch he could, but he then realized that she was with me, and he got all caught up in his freaking feelings. He was full. he got real caught up in his feelings. He's like, "Wait a minute, who am I gonna go back to? I mean, wait a minute." So it caught him off guard too, so it was nice. The whole thing was nice. The whole experience was nice. Me and her were, like, just kissing everywhere we could. We talked about everything as, young teenagers do when they're, kinda young and stupid and in love. And then, so on the bus ride home, she's sitting with me. And, that's how, a weekend at the sleepover camp went when I was, growing up. So, me and her still talk, um, even now. She's with another guy, me, I'm single over here, but me and her still talk. She has some kids now, I have my daughter, of course. I definitely talk to her, just see how she's doing. Um, she's on the other side of the United States now, the East Coast. Um, anyway, so this is, me being when I got with this girl, I was 17 and she was 15. Can you believe that? How ironic is that? So that was a little interesting, right? When I became 18, well, when I was 17, I moved and I was around another school environment, so me and her couldn't really continue the relationship as as much as we wanted to. So I started chatting online, and then I, started hooking up around the age of like 17 and 18. During this period of time in high school, this is a time where there's a lot of sexual rumors about women going around. The rumors that start about women when you're in high school, they can be horrendous. I mean, this girl was doing, I remember hearing that that this chick, like when the football team like won a game, this chick would like blow every football player, like as some kind of backward celebration. Now, there's no real I don't think there's really evidence or validity, to what the rumor is. I mean, I'm pretty sure that may have been true for like maybe one or two guys, or maybe one guy at the most, or two. I mean, sorry, two good at the most, but like one guy, and then it turns into probably the whole football team, just for exaggerated effect, I guess. So I'm pretty sure it was in every game. I'm pretty sure it was, maybe someone got caught in the locker room or whatever. Um, but yeah, there are some like rumors that get spread around. What do you call them? Like slut shaming rumors. Slut shaming rumors back in my day anyway. Like this one's a slut. This one will do any guy, and it's always some girl like who's tormenting some other girl. Like this one she's easy, or I guess I think that's how women are cruel to one another is through the slut shaming. It's like, yeah, she'll just do any guy. And that's not true. That's not true of any woman. There's not a single woman I know that'll do any guy. You know, it just isn't. So, in high school, um, I was in Fairbanks, Alaska for my freshman year, and then for my sophomore year, I was here in Texas. Well, sophomore, junior, and senior were all here in Texas. But high school here, down here, is different than when I was in Alaska. You have a lot of close knit friends, in high school. Um, when you're in Alaska, you have bonfires up there. You have snow sports up there. I mean, you have It's a tighter, closer knit family up in Alaska than it is down here. It's a big state, but with a small town vibe and feel where everybody knows everybody. And, you know, I mean, once you've been to Alaska and you know people there, it's like you become ipso de facto family. Because there are people who usually go up to Alaska for a vacation. I mean, they'll fly up there or drive. So, it's a real good place to kind of like get away from the pressures of the lower 48 states down here because it's just the environment, the people, everything's just different up there than it is down here. So, I mean, I plan on going back sometime soon. I got some unfinished business I need to tend to up there. But for the most part, um, I dated. Um, I used to date, I guess, straight out of high school because the woman that I dated out of high school, I wound up marrying. So therein lies my mistake of, never learning rejection or how to shoot my shot or how to, you know, acquire a girlfriend in high school or in junior high or in elementary. Like you miss something out of all of that education. Because my first marriage, it was really, really good. The relationship was really good for a good while, but once one comes into age of their sexual peak, things go real sideways real quick. So, yeah, a lot of hard lessons in the 20s. Hell, 18, 19, I wasn't doing much better either. I was still trying to smash everything. Hulk was just trying to smash everything. But um I mean, don't get me wrong, I was interested in acquiring and having a girlfriend, but just no one was really having it. Not back then anyway. So, you know, during the marriage, I found out that there were so many women who were now available to me. And this is because I started going out. I had this friend that I went to school with and at the National Institute of Technology, and he used to come to my place. We'd hang out, and then he'd be like, "All right, I'm going to the bar. I'm going to the bar. I'm going to the bar." So then one day he kind of just drags me out and says, "Yeah, just come out. Come have a drink at the bar. I'll have you home. This and that." So we started going to the bar, but now, we're checking out women and we're having a good time and we're talking to different women and getting a bunch of different phone numbers and playing darts, drinking beer, using the jukebox, playing music, playing pool, you know, talking to people, like moving and shaking, right? So I kind of got used to that. And then we started going to the club. We go to clubs because the music's better, the women are dressed more scantily clad. I love that. Um, but you get to again have that social atmosphere of just relaxing, taking the scenery all in, no harm, no foul, no real hanky panky, nothing wrong. Then I start discovering that to the music, I know how to dance, right? And I don't mean like simply move. I mean I got really good at dancing, like really, really good at 20 something. So, that's kind of when you have all your energy, all your, so-called wits about you and just coming into your own. You're an adult, but not really. And you have maybe some responsibilities to the apartment, but you don't. But at this age, I didn't really have a sense of like family. and duty and real responsibilities. Um, Not at that time. I didn't, like I said, having a lack of relationship means you don't learn anything about not being selfish. I mean, not thinking, always thinking about someone else other than you, your significant other, as it were. So I started always going out with Eric. I started always hanging out with Eric. My friend's name, by the way, Eric. And everything was cool. Everything, is cool. But we're starting to now interact and talk to like a lot of women. Like, I mean, a lot of women. So then it turns into I'm buying drinks for different women, making small talk. And then it starts, getting more out of hand to where I start actually meeting up with different women and kind of hooking up and then, kind of cheating on the wife at the time. So I'm doing all these things. Not, being faithful. I'm not being loyal. I'm not being truthful or honest or anything. I'm being in complete like cad, just like complete complete narcissism, right? Like chronic narcissism. I guess that's maybe a term to describe it. But anyway, so after a while, um, the w- the wife decides to leave. Takes my daughter, and this is at a one day wake up and go kind of thing. This is, she planned this out. She, I guess, knew a date of when she wanted to pack up everything and leave, and it had to be when I was at work, like at work. So I'm at work working, and I get a phone call and letting me know your wife is gone and she took your daughter with her. So I remember being devastated, yeah. But that was it was a tragic event. I mean, I think every man still remembers the day your wife and takes your children from you. I mean, that's you know, you, you hear a lot of you hear a lot of women talk about how men don't care and we can just up and leave her. We're leaving the woman and with the children. It's not really how it is. I mean, I didn't like choose to leave, but I got left, you know. Now, my actions were, reprehensible, and um, you know, my ex-wife had every right to leave. I didn't know how to end the relationship properly and just say, "Hey, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. I don't want to be married anymore. We should get a divorce. I'm gonna move out into my own place over here, and then we'll work out the custody and the courts later." Like that's the things that I probably should have said, and these are the things that I probably should have done. But things being the way they are, she up and left. I was devastated. Um, Took me a long time to get over it, but hey, I'm okay now. My daughter is semi back in my life somewhat. She's here, going to school, doing good things. Um, I have at least some access, so I'm kind of glad about that. Can't be mad. But I mean, it's just I believe like I've dated so I mean, I've made a lot of mistakes, of course, and this is my marriage. I'm talking about my dating too. Like, there are a lot of different women that I was messing with, that I wasn't serious about, right? Um, I don't want to go through how many, but there were just many. There were several of them that I did want to date, and that I did date. But I just didn't. How can I say this? Communication wasn't my best strong suit at the time. This is we're talking 2005 to 2010, 2010 to 2015, and now that it's 2015 to 2020, I got a lot better. And now from 2020 to 2022, I'm miles from where I was. So, now I'm able to open up to people. I'm able to make jokes. I'm able to be that guy to walk into a room full of strangers and maybe make some small conversation. If I need to be the one to break the ice. Um, also, um, I mean, I recently started coming out of my shell, because I just recently got out of a relationship that was um, about 2 years and some change. But coming out, back into the real world of the dating pool, I mean, it's something else, but it sucks. I mean, it's not like I have to shop for another wife. I don't know if I'm ever gonna get married again, knowing how badly I screwed up my first marriage. I mean, when you're well, I can't say, well, never say never, but I'm just saying, like, that's just not what I'm looking to dive into right now. I mean, right now it's going to be a relationship a friendship um, a relationship that's based on a friendship and then seeing where that goes. But I have to admit, the older you get, the shorter length of time it's going to really take to get to know someone and what they've been through because having lived for so long, there are, you can skip a couple years of getting to know each other. I mean, we don't have to go back to when we were 5 and, what kind of baby food we both liked. You know, we can we can start from 2 older people can start to get to know each other as adults. Let me put it that way. 2 older people can get to know each other starting from adulthood, meaning, "Hey, I was 20, I was 30, I was 40, when I learned this or decided this or got married or had children or decided to go back to school." You can talk about, you can get one adult can get to know another adult. It doesn't have to go all the way back to childhood unless I know that's for me, that's kind of like pillow talk. Like your childhood, it should be saved for like that bath time or that spooning time, when I was a kid, this happened or that happened or whatever. But, I think in dating, when it comes to like getting to know someone on the general, um, keep it on the typical. Keep it on the, hey, what are your boundaries? If you have any, or w- what are you looking for now that you weren't back then? And what mistakes have you made that you've learned? Things like real questions that you would ask someone, a mature adult anyway. I don't, and then we're coming up on an hour here, so I'm gonna have to hurry up and switch topics, but because this kind of segues into it. Like when I'm on dating apps now, I more likely want someone who is my age or older or a little younger in their late 30s and early 40s, early mid 40s. And when I look at the pictures of younger women in their 20s and 25 and 26 and 21, I'm like, my first impression is, am I looking at her real picture or is that like a filter? First thing, like, is that a filter or is that her real face? Second, and then let's just say I'm not asking that question and it's her real face. Is it her real face? I see a whole bunch of makeup, a whole bunch of this, a whole bunch of. Y- y- So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with makeup. Let's just get that out of the way. There's nothing wrong with makeup. Wear as much as you want. I'm just saying I understand about having self-confidence, and this makeup is about how you feel about yourself. Like you're stepping out into the world. This is me. This is the real me, and I feel pretty, so I want to be. Okay, cool, cool. And I understand this. I don't want to take any of that away from you. All I'm saying is that what I'm looking at, like what I'm looking for, is just a woman who's in her natural element. A woman who, okay, so as much makeup as you want to wear, which is good, too much can be unhealthy, but the right amount. As much as you want to wear makeup and feel confident and feel sexy, what what I would say is a woman who is older, a woman who is more comfortable in her skin, and a woman who's not hiding any of her blemishes but can smile anyway. Like, to me, that's sexy. To me, it's like, you know, yeah, it's me. It's real. Like, I'm not hiding or faking it or filtering it for nobody. To me, that's what's sexy. That's what attracts me. You can see that in a picture. When you're looking at a picture of a woman's natural beauty, you're like, yeah, let me swipe right. It's appealing. It's worth a super like. I mean, I like, yes, I like looking at the 20-year-old, and this is what we're talking about this hour. We're talking about dating younger women, like, for me anyway. I'm the only guy here. What do you want? Um, so a lot of people talk about how men love means or well means or whatever. Um, date younger women, right? And how we're a top tier man, who makes six figures, who's over 6 foot. I do not have a six pack, but I do have a kegger. So, but anyway, and more than 6 inches, I have that as well. That's check, check, check. We have more options, right? We have more options in the dating market because we're our class and our stature allows us a more wider range of options of women that are looking for us, that are looking to accept us. Um, and money helps do that. Money, stature, house, all that kind of sticks out as your check, check, and check. So um, this is just me feeding back off of what I've been hearing on YouTube and in these different spaces. So I mean, I don't consider the reason. I mean, I consider, according to what a high value man is, that's going to be me. But I know I'm not an attractive man, so I'm not that. But I mean, the qualities and the attributes and the assets, kind of, I guess more than make up for my, lack of handsomeness. But don't let my looks fool you. I am the sexiest thing in the room, in my head anyway. And no, you can't all pack up and move there, but you know, you know, eh, it keeps me from holding my pillow and crying at night. Crying myself to sleep. Um, got me. I got jokes, but anyway, um, from what I know, like for the most part, um, younger women, it is so hard for me to say like I would select one of you to date. Kind of, kind of. I hate it. And well, first of all, the 25 and 20-year-old is not I'm not what they're looking for. Trust me. I'm not what they're looking for. They're looking for some other dude that looks some other kind of way, right? Let's just put that out there. There are some things about me that I gotta fix, cost a little money, a little time, a lot of insurance. But let's just say let's do this thought experiment of where I am the full package. I am a handsome guy, just kinda I'll just make a mask out of one of these posters and then we'll fix that problem. So let's just say I'm a high value guy and I'm a handsome guy. So then single, available with options, right? So in this mystical world where, women find me attractive, I'm going on these apps, I'm going on these dating apps and social medias, and I see these. The only thing I don't have is Instagram. I can't do it. Won't do it. Um, just I'll stick with my Facebook and my Twitter, and then I just recently got on Tinder, so there's that. But anyway, I'm looking at these apps, these pictures on these apps of these 21-year-olds, 25-year-olds, 22-year-olds, 27-year-olds, and I like looking at these younger women, but if I let's just say I match one of them, and we exchange words, and it's, you know, maybe she's okay with my age because of my looks, because of my personality, or because of how much money I make or whatever. But we get along, no one's catfishing. The idea comes to how about a date? Movies, dinner, something, dancing. So, the thought experiment is when I'm looking at Tinder and I'm looking at these women on Tinder and I'm like, where would she like to what's a good time for her? I can do a walk in the park with the dog. I mean, I don't mind that. I can do a picnic in the park. I can do that. I can do coffee at Starbucks. I can do that. But at the other end of the spectrum, there are women that I see when I'm swiping that want and maybe expect a higher standard of living, such as the fancy restaurant, the luxurious car, the nice apartment, or you know, the loft, the bar, the upscale bar where I wear my suit to the upscale bar. Um, I mean, I but here's the thing about me, right? I don't do valet parking. You're not gonna get in my car and park it, and I'm gonna give you money for that. I mean, I call me call me old fashioned, but if we're going to a bar and there's some parking for $10, but down the street, like half a block, there's parking in front of somebody's house. Oh, I'm gonna find that parking in somebody's house. I'm not paying $10 for some just to park in a place I'm probably not supposed to park anyway. I'll drive that half a block and then I'm like, all right, come on, babe, how about the car? We're here. Let's walk. So, I mean, it's not gonna be like a mile or two, but it is gonna be like, I don't know, like a walk, because there are people who just have to walk. But I am the type of guy who would do this. Like, hey, um, if we're both walking from the car, and we're meeting some friends there, and it's a group thing and things like that, then what I would do is when we're getting ready to leave, I would leave her with a friend and I would go and run and pick up the car and then drive to pick her up and then we bounce. But if it's me and her on a date, just me and her, Yeah, we're walking. I mean, we're walking because, as we're walking, we can be talking too, right? I mean, I'm not saying I know how hard and difficult it is to walk in heels or some real glamorous outfit. So we're at a glamorous restaurant. You better believe I'll make sure we have like really good parking. Um, I really don't know about valet. I really hate the idea of just like I don't carry cash on me anymore, because I used to work downtown, and a lot of people who are homeless, they ask you for money, but what I do is I take out my wallet and I'm like, dude, I ain't got none. I don't have anything. And what happens is when you show them that your wallet is empty, they don't come back asking. They'll see you on the street and they may ask the person to your left and your right, but they won't ask you. I mean, the trick that I developed. Anyway, um, but anyway, a date. So a date with this 20-something-year-old, and I mean, you could take her to a high-end restaurant. You can wine her, you can dine her, you can spend all kinds of maybe $300 on her. I mean, drop in a bucket, who cares? But the point is, it's a good time. Like, the money pays for, like, um, the atmosphere and lifestyle and the food, the wine, the an environment, um, that you both experience while getting to know each other, right? To some degree. I mean, how much could one person really know another when, you just flash in your pocket? So, my problem would be is if I'm dating I took this 20-something-year-old out on a date, upscale date, upscale date. Now, one or two things. One, this girl, if she's wearing like a dress and it's a nice dress, but it comes with some heels, and we're going to dinner, okay, valet parking, valet parking. I'll just eat it. This scenario part two, we're going to a bar or something, meeting up with some friends, then no valet, we'll just take the walk and things like that. There's different types of dates. There's the upscale dinner and movies or whatever, and then there's hey, we're just getting to know each other. Let's not take this too serious. Um, you meet in your regular clothes, you meet in my regular clothes, and we'll just hang out with friends, and then it is what it is after that. So it's just how I feel about the 20-something-year-old is that if you do invest, me being 40, her being 20-something, she has a lot of time on her hands to not only play the field, but play it according to her rules. She can actually go on a date with me, and then 2 hours after I left, go on a date with somebody else, or talk to her backdoor dude and like get it from somebody else, while dating me or while going on a date with me anyway. So I mean, me being a former 20-year-old, I used to play the field. I used to like juggle a few people around. Um, so me being my age, I'm gonna have to accept being juggled. You know, I have to compete. I I mean, it is what it is. But the women that I compete for, um, I would really hope that I would find a good 30-something-year old. Here's a question. So, would a man choose a 20-year-old something over a 30-year-old something or a 40-year-old something? And I guess it somehow depends not only on the man's taste, but in his woman, but what woman are we talking about? Are we talking about a woman who likes to party all the time? We talking about a potential wife? We're talking about um, two gamers hooking up. Well, there are a bunch of different dynamics there. But I mean, I guess as far as um, the 30-year-old might have kids. The 30-year-old will have children. The 30-year-old has been through some stuff. The 30-year-old is battle tested, has been through a relationship, knows what she wants. The 30-year-old um, maybe doesn't have it all together, but has an idea. The 30-year-old is most likely not in school, had a job for a while, had a relationship for a while, and maybe feel some kind of way about the whole dating process. They're not closed off to dating, but they're closed off maybe to the dating process. So here's something that I see a lot on Tinder, and I am going to demonstrate because I have my phone. So here's what I want to kind of bring up as a subject matter: social media. This is Tinder. So let's see. Just a dog plant mom that's looking for the real deal. Let's see. So a lot of women. I'm looking for one of the examples. Okay, here we go. Heavy on respecting people's choices because I mind my business. I'm not here to add you to my body count, so don't waste my time. Wow. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm looking for something casual, not interested in a relationship. Okay, so there is something See, so when I hear a woman say she's looking for something casual, I don't immediately I mean, I do immediately jump to sex in a lot of things, but I don't immediately jump to sex when it comes to a dating app because I think a casual relationship in the context of Tinder is no pressure. We're friends. You don't need to be texting me all the time. You don't need to be calling me all the time. We don't need to have dinner and date all the time. I think when she's talking about a casual relationship, she's just looking for a man to have a relationship with no pressure or any strings attached. There's no expectations. There's no roses or flowers or none of that stuff. And like I feel she is not looking for all of that right now. That's what I take for casual to mean. Let's see this one here. I'm a passionate person with a big heart. Sarcasm is the only language I'm fluent in. Yeah, I like sarcasm too. Let's see. Short, weird, creative, water, grilling, Netflix, outdoors, costumes, good natured, chaos, lover, sassy, but goofy as AF. Looking for someone to dress up with me and play Sith Lord and Jedi. Kind of interesting. I mean, I'm not a real Star Wars fan. Let's see. Would like to find my forever half. I'm independent, so I don't need your financial help. I'm laid back and a homebody. Should I pay for it? Might as well enjoy it. I kind of like this one. See, yeah, someone older and snarky like that, they've been through it. They know what they're doing. 5'8" tall and curvy, thick mom bod, whatever you want to call it. Separated, divorce pending, two kiddos, looking to date, and hopefully build a connection with someone, open to something consistent long term, but that takes time. So let's start a date. Let's start with a date and get to know each other, not looking for a pen pal or one night stand. I see. Okay. See, yeah, yeah. That's okay. 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 this is fair, right? Um, I guess when women are asking for a date, this one's asking for a date to get to know each other. She's not looking for a one night stand. I get it. It's not a hit and quit it kind of thing. I'm trying to speak to this thing where the one night stand thing. I in all my years of my sexual misadventures, I've had two or three one night stands. All the sex I've had, that's it. If you're in a different social circle and all these women are available to you and you have a stupid ridiculous amount of money, then one night stands are common. They're not a thing. It's just yeah, I hit it, I quit it, and I'll do the same thing again tomorrow. But I mean, for the most common of men, for the 80 to 90% of us men, we're not about the one night stand. I mean, when we find something really good, we want to keep it. We want to keep it for as long as possible. Now, just because we may want some other option down the road doesn't mean we still don't want to keep you too. But I mean, yeah, I mean, hey, you women, you know how to write a profile sometimes. But these profiles on Tinder, when I read them, the most common thread that I see is no games. Like no game, tired of the BS, tired of the games. I'm not into games. If you're into games, swipe left. I don't think it doesn't work like that. It's like you're like on Tinder, you're on a social media app, a dating app saying, I don't want any games. I don't want to play these games. I don't want the lies or it, it, it it's part of dating, okay? It's called the dating game. It is a game. There are winners and losers, but we're all players. We are all players in the game. Well, except for the small percentage of people who just choose not to play. And if you don't play, then you can't win, right? How are you win? So when we talk about these spaces of dating, whether within your own race or interracial, um, there are winners and losers. There are people who are winning, right? They say um, um, Palestinians and Israelis aren't supposed to be together. Maybe. I mean, they have this thing over there in the Middle East, but I mean, one has married the other. I mean, you just know, right? I mean, it does happen. People do have feelings for each other don't, during times of war and peace. But I mean, you can have two people who are rigid against each other's social group, but yet find like attraction within the other. Hatfield and the McCoys, Romeo and Juliet. You've heard it. There's always like the star-crossed lover syndrome. And uh, it's a very powerful dynamic in interracial dating and relationships. It just is. Um, Two people who aren't supposed to be together make the hottest couple. I mean, let's try that. Two people who are not supposed to be together by as designated by their own social groups. Two people who are not supposed to be together makes for a more interesting and more f- powerful relationship. Um, it breaks barriers. It opens up two different people, one to the other and the other to the one. It forces people to reconcile with how they feel when they see these two people together. It changes a lot of things. Now, it doesn't change a lot of hearts and minds and ideas like, so quickly, but it's provocative to say the least. Um, I mean, given the environment down here, there are some pockets in the United States of America where interracial dating is so common. Austin, Texas happens to be one of these cities where it's just I find interracial couples everywhere, like everywhere. There are some in Houston as well, but I found them in Austin everywhere. Um, Not because I was, particularly looking, but it's they've I feel that they've reconciled with with the taboo. It's like, you know what? It may be taboo over here and it may be taboo over there, but not up in here. So I feel like I'm living in well, when I visit Austin, I feel like I'm existing in a place that is outside of the bigger cultural norm. And it would take a while to get used to, but Austin is its own universe, in the big red state of Texas. It's a blue ball. So in in dating on these dating apps, um, in the dating game, what did I say? There were winners and losers, right? And I said those who don't play can't win. Um, but what they're thinking, what a person like me was thinking is, well, that means I can't lose either. But no, that means uh, it, they find safety and security in not being seen rather than being seen and being made fun of or ridiculed. And a lot of like younger men um, think that rejection is the end all be all of manhood. Like either you shoot your shot and you're supposed to be accepted by the female, or she rejects you, you retreat into your shell, you run home and cry, or you swear off of women and you never get over it. You never get over it. It's hard getting really turned it's when you get turned down from a woman that you're really into, it is very hard. It's very hard. But I mean, you gotta learn to like not turn that inward. Just okay, I can't. The first thing you need to say is I'm okay. Second thing you need to say is I can't have her. I can't have her. When you say to yourself you can't have her, I mean, it doesn't mean you can't have her forever, but it does mean you can't have her right now. And if you're really like invested in the long term of having this girl as your girlfriend, you know, you need to be comfortable talking to her and changing your approach and sliding into her subconscious DMs as it were and have her miss you a bit. How does she miss you a bit? If you're a regular somewhere, this is a girl at your favorite sandwich shop, this is your friend that this is this girl that you're seeing at work. This is your girl that you're seeing when you go to school. This is your girl that you want to be with when you're anywhere regularly. Um, Change up the time that you do some things. Maybe just miss her. Maybe study her, see if she's looking for you. Because a lot of times, these women like to friend zone a lot of men. They friend zone the hell out of a lot of men. And when we do it, to women, they seem to always call us the player, saying we're playing with their hearts and their minds, things like that. When they do it, perfectly all right. Oh, they're just men. They only want one thing. How come I can't just put them in the friend zone? How come I can't just use them for what they need? And then, oh, I'm not doing this. They're doing, So besides, besides going back and forth, I just think that there are a lot of different factors besides race. There's gender, and then there's age as well, right? Goals too. Um, uh, Everyone wants to be good at something or have some kind of end game, right? Whether it's marriage with kids, living in the shoe, or owning your own business, or maybe growing older only to enjoy the rest of your life vacationing, going to travel, um, or building a life in a state, or in a different, in this country or somewhere else. There are a lot of different things that people want to do. So, and people change, over time. So what you wanted to do when you first met may not be what you wanted to do after you guys are split up. So, for instance, I just at the age of 40 finally went to Las Vegas for the first time a couple months ago now. Now it's like, okay, now that I know what Vegas is all about and what's required and what I can find there and how I know how to move through there, now I can go right back to Vegas. Not only know the how it's done, but get some shows, this and that. So what I'm looking for now, as far as dating, I do want to kind of get with a girl who likes to travel and maybe likes to do things and be more active. I mean, I get apprehensive about dating younger women because they're going to be far more active than I am. I mean, I go to the gym 3 days a week, but I mean, so what? I mean, I'm 40 trying not to have a heart attack. These younger women are, they're bicycling, they're hiking, they're climbing mountains, they're bungee jumping, all kinds of crazy ass shit. But, mm, I mean, uh, you know, uh, try not to get a heart attack. Let's start there. But could I date? Here's the thing about that. I do want more children. Not gonna lie, it would be nice to have 1 or 2 more. I see that as less as an option only because of my current age, but not if I look for a younger female. Then those options become available to me again. She doesn't want kids, or maybe she does, but 20 or 30, there's 2 different pools, generation pools to choose from. A woman who's 40, has had all of her kids, not into doing it again. 30, maybe you got your career, you got your degree, and you got your bag, but you ain't got your man and you ain't got no children. So the 20-year-olds may not know who they are, what they want to do, how they want to do it. Um, but there are some out there who maybe just want a mature man, maybe just want a guy who's got his money, who's got the house, who's got the life, right? So I think the dating pool's kind of opening in that little spa area, hot tub area for myself. I just don't know about dipping my toe in that kind of water. Thinking about dating a 20-year-old right now, and I'm getting exhausted. But uh, I've had so many experiences that I want to share, and and then I mean, I had an experience just this past weekend. Let's go, let's go there. This past weekend, um, went to this place because I'm part of this lifestyle club, sex club, and so I go there on weekends, and um, wound up talking to multiple women uh, who wanted to play. So I was able to play. I'm not gonna tell you what we did, but we engaged in some play. So one was into fellatio. That was her kink, right? Everyone has a kink. Everyone has their thing. I like my toes curl. I mean, whatever. So her kink was just oral sex, just performing oral sex. She loved it. She loved doing it. Um, it was her kink, pleasuring another man. That's her sub side calling, right? She loves to sub and she loves to serve another man, performing this act. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. The other woman I wound up talking to was younger. She is more versatile. She's bigger, she's more curvier. She wanted I approached her, started talking to her. She was really soft-spoken, very nice, very generous, and I expressed my interest in her right away when I saw her. I'm like, "Look, I like this outfit. I'm, like, interested in you. I like the way you wear, I like the way it looks on you. Da 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 da." She's like, "Oh, well, thank you," and we're looking at each other in the eyes, and she's smiling at me, I'm smiling at her, and I'm like, kind of sort of like all shy and shit like that. I'm like, "Oh, well, do you meet many people here?" Just kind of small talk. She's like, "No, I'm actually kind of shy, and at least I was when I first got here, but now I'm kind of a little this and a little that." So I'm like, "Cool." So she's like, "Well, did you want to play?" And I'm like, "Well, hell yeah, I want to play." So found an available room, got some stuff going, and then that was pretty much it. Well, not pretty much it, that was it. But in the right environment, y- you can be approachable to anyone and you can approach anyone. I'll tell you one thing about women, maybe that they do or don't know, is that like when I used to go to bars and clubs, there would be a pack of women. There's always a pack of women, 4 or 5 strong. And, you know, okay, so I get it. I get it that it's girls' night, but I'm attracted to one of y'all. So I have to come up with like a Mission Impossible plan to kind of, work my way in and try and find an in. So what I'll usually do, and this maybe still does work, but I do approach a woman and her friends, and I look for the one who doesn't have a drink. And I'm like, "Oh, are you, like, designated driver tonight, or what's up? I noticed you don't have a drink in your hand." I was like, "You driving or what?" She's like, "No, I just didn't get anything." And I'm like, "Well, I see your friends here drinking." I'm like, "We need to join your friends here. It's a crime here in these parts to not drink with your friends. I mean, we don't want you ticketed or in trouble, and it's stupid, but it works, okay? So it's like, the point is, let's go get you like, the point is, I'm getting you a drink, like, I dare you to say no. So even if she really didn't wanna drink, I'm buying her a drink anyway. So what'll commonly happen is I can take the one friend that isn't drinking and be like, "Okay, so what are your friends drinking?" And then they'll be like, "Oh, well, it's a Starfucker or it's rum and Coke or Jack and Coke or whatever." I'm like, "All right, let's get the 5 or 6 Jack and Cokes over there, and I'll buy all your friends drinks, just one round." So I get in good with the friends now. I'm like, "Hey, my name is this and then who?" I get all the names from the girls, and I'm like, "Dit, dit, dit." So, and I hope younger men are listening. So when you're in the environment and there's a pack of women and you're trying to get at the one, you're gonna need to play it real cool, bro. If you're making a little bit of money, you use that money to buy them all the first drink. Second, third, out the window. Don't even bother. It's the first drink that's the one that's gonna make the impression. You're not just after her. You're after the approval of the whole crew. So what you need to do is introduce yourself and get every girl's name. And as she says it, you need to stamp each girl with their name and make sure you can build an association um, to the girl that you like. Like, this is the girl I like. These are her friends. You need to keep the names of the girls correctly in your head because when you make the small talk and conversation, if you keep saying their names, they'll be like, "Oh, well, he knows who I am." If you're talking to a girl and you keep using her name, she'll always remember during the conversation, "Well, he knows who I am. He knows my name." If she hears her name a lot, you're calling her name, you're saying her name. When you say a girl's name, you're grabbing her attention. When you're grabbing a girl's attention, you need to hold on to that attention for at least a minute or 3 or 4 minutes and say something really funny or really witty or if it's a backhanded compliment. And there are no secrets to doing this. It's a learned art, it's a learned skill. But I'll tell you, women love being complimented on how they look, their dress, their earrings, their makeup, their hair. You can tell how much effort a woman has put into getting ready to come out to the bar or the club by by what she's wearing and how she's wearing it and how she feels about herself in that environment. You walk up to the girl, and for me, it is looking at the one that took the most time with their lips, their eyebrows, their eyelashes, all that kind of shit. You can tell. And you take the one and you're like, I can see the effort you put into looking good. Like you're really looking good. I'm looking at you and I can tell that you took the time to look damn sexy as you are right now up in this motherfucker. And I'll say that in front of her and all her friends. And it'll all be met with approval because they'll all know, yeah, you're right. She took the longest to get ready. So it's these things that can allow a single man to exist among an Amazonian tribe of women. Um, they can say something funny about you. You better not take offense to it. Don't take it personal. Don't take offense to it. I have a problem with some of my looks, right? Of course, I can't really smile too much because I have like a lot of missing teeth from periodontal disease. So I can't laugh. I'm not really allowed to laugh with a gaping open mouth because it's disgusting and it's disturbing to look at. So I'll usually have to cover my mouth when I laugh or kind of look away or turn away. But I can't just laugh, like I do a normal laugh. I just can't. I'll just, because once you see something grotesque and gross, all your mind goes to 100% that and then you're just kind of turned off. So in this, in this thing here, in this dating game, you have to be a player. You have to know, like, your position. You need to know your role. You need to know what you're looking for. You need to know what you will and won't tolerate. You need to know that if you find the right person, you're not going to be able to just help yourself. You need to know social cues, social norms. You need to learn body language. You need to learn how to flirt. So we will talk about this. Let's get into this. I've dated Hispanic women. I've dated white women. Haven't dated Asian women. There is this art to the flirt. When I'm looking at some of these podcasts now, some of these relationship podcasts, no, not like mine, but different, about men and women, about the modern dating world. There are a lot of things that are talked about and discussed over and over again, but one of the things that I believe are missing is called the flirt, the art of flirting. You know, flirting flirting between a man and a woman is supposed to be two things. It's supposed to be harmless, completely harmless, and it's supposed to be a game. It's supposed to be a game that two people, a harmless game between two people that two people play. They're playing footsie underneath the table, as we would call it in my day. The back and forth, the little things, the banter, the slight comment, the eye roll, the um, private jokes, the, you know, I think you get the idea a little bit. Flirting, like I haven't heard that word spoken in a long time, but flirting gets you everywhere with everyone. A girl flirts with a guy. A guy hits on, kind of flirts with a girl. I think the male version of flirting is hitting on. You know, I think I think the old school version is kind of hitting on, of men hitting on women. I think that's kind of a thing. Like, yeah, you got nice legs. What time do they open, or whatever the hell? I'm like, almost like sexual harassment adjacent. And I don't want to say that. Women, I think there's flirting between women and men. Let's just keep it there. It's the communication that's harmless that says, you know, we're not in a relationship, but it would be cool maybe if we were. And there are telltale signs um, that a woman could be open to a relationship. So one of the signs that I understood is that a woman will make herself available to the man that she's interested in. Here's what I mean by that. So, for the younger men out there, body language is everything. Eye contact is everything. You need to learn how to look a girl in the eyes and know that when she looks right back at you, you need to smile. You need to smile, not as big or as dumb, not as mine, but you need to let her know that you see her and that you looking at her and she looking at you is a good thing. If you just start with that, it kind of eases a lot of tension. And then what happens is if you run into that girl again or that woman again, that smile is kind of how they remember you. And maybe they're going to be that much more receptive to a hello or a verbal greeting or exchange. But yeah, I used to go to, well, I go to bars. I go to bars and clubs. I still do. Yes, 40. Yes, I can still dance. So, it's my form of exercise besides the gym and besides sex, which I'm not getting too much of these days. But that's another podcast. Uh, but yeah, but for the most part, I I've learned a lot about the opposite sex. I know very little about women, but I know stuff about women. I mean, I listen to women all the time. I listen to you speak. I know what you want. I know who you want. Um, I know I'm not going to be your first pick. Um, I know I'm going to be that guy that you think that's a simp that um, you can put in your friend zone. I've had a couple experiences with that. I got rid of that. Um, I mean, now I guess I'm demanding more because I'm going to start demanding more of myself. So I'm going to start demanding more of other people. Now, when I say demanding more, what does that mean? That you have to physically do more or you need to, what, lift more weight or something? You need to put on more weight? No, what I mean is that I'm going to be um, a better person, meaning I need to say hi more. You need to look people, I do look more people in the eye more now, but I do need to start approaching people I don't know and just say hi. I'm trying to do that as we speak. I'm trying to um open up more and be more out there. But in bars and clubs, I mean, yeah, I guess because I've navigated that environment for so long, it's late at night, people are drinking, people are almost drunk, people are feeling good, people have a shitty week, people are wearing their best dress or something like that. People are out with their boys, girls were out with their girls. Um, there's I know how that atmosphere is and how it works and how to navigate it. And because it's such an uncomfortable place for me to kind of operate, I think that's why I still go, even after all these years. I go because I think that's where I'm most socially active. Here in this room in my house and then out in the world, I don't own much space out there. But when I go to a bar that I go to a lot or go to a club that I go to a lot, I'm the man. I'm the man. I know the DJ, the bartender. The bartender knows what I'm drinking when I walk in the building. It's one of those things where it's a rapport. And I think some of you know what I'm talking about. When you walk in your favorite bar, your bartender knows your drink. He's not asking you for anything. Maybe your card to open up your tab, but that's about it, right? So, I mean, uh, that's just where my environment is right now. Now, let's say I meet Miss Right. I found her. Doesn't matter how old she is, 40 something, 20 something. I found her, 30 something. I found her. And um, she's like, well, we met at the club or da da da, but I'm really not in the mood to go to the club anymore. I'm kind of old, tired of that. And I'm thinking to myself, excuse me. The question is, would I change and give up the club life for Miss Right? I mean, the answer is yes. I mean, I can still go to the gym and work out and get my exercise there. And going to the club doesn't really define me. It's just an outlet that I use in order to meet and mingle with other people. But I can still, with my significant other, have dinner date with friends and have a party and go to parties and host events and do all of the kinds of things that I don't like in a relationship, in a real relationship. You're both going to be willing to give up things for the other. I mean, you just are. Um, I mean, the, one of the hardest things I wonder to ask in the next video, maybe the next podcast video, is if men. Here's a question. I don't know if you know, the YouTube sphere could ever pose this as a question, but You know, provocative question, a thought-provoking question. If women gave up toys, their sexual toys, their wands and their roses and all that, could men give up their porn? If women gave up all their sexual toys, threw them out, could men do the same thing with pornography? Because these are both devices that allow us to that are, I believe, maybe selfish tools that we use to get off by ourselves. But when you're in a relationship, you shouldn't really, I feel like you really shouldn't have to use these tools unless it's to get each other off. But it's an interesting question to ask. So, I mean, keep that in the pot and stir it. Mm, see how the taste comes out. But and this is an interesting question. What are you willing to give up in a relationship? Like your religion? Is it your favorite team? Your sports? Is it your free? It's gonna be your free time. That's part of it. But I mean, and family and your kids, that's not part of it. That's non-negotiable. No one's really gonna. I mean, unless, well, this is interracial dating, so let me back up because yes, in my relationship, in my marriage, she did lose her family. She did lose her family. Now, I didn't lose mine, but mine weren't too happy about me marrying a white woman. I mean, they just weren't happy about it. Um, Her parents, so they weren't too happy about it either. Her father was very disapproval. They're very disapproving. I mean, I look back at it now, and I guess I can see from his point of view as a father, but really couldn't see his point of view as a man. I mean, if a man is offering to marry your daughter after knocking her up and having a child, I mean, what are you angry about? So, I mean, you can't change people and you can't fix everybody. So, it is what it is. But yeah, we need to talk and have a conversation about whether men are willing to give up porn and whether women are willing to give up their toys. I think if we gave up these things or at least put them away, maybe we don't have to give them up. Maybe we can just put them away. You don't need to throw them away. But I do think you need to put it away and keep it away until it is absolutely necessary. You need to use it. Let's try. I mean, as a thought experiment, because I think there is because I get sexually turned on by looking at a woman more than one. So I mean, a human being, a woman is my visual stimuli. Like that's all I really need to get in the mood. For women, they're different creatures. I mean, s- maybe Salt and Pepper in the video shoot kind of displayed it for the men on the men, the women wanting the men, but i- it's not. I mean, the music video doesn't do the women of modern society justice because I don't see that video being relevant today. I don't see a bunch of women like lusting after these different men. And I think lust operates differently for men and women too. Um, I mean, yes, what attracts is the muscles and maybe the fit and tone body or the abs and maybe the bank account in the car too and all the possessions. But, you know, um, end of the day, you can't really help who you're attracted to. It's an animal innate thing. It's not something that's logical. It's 100%, I believe, emotional. Your emotions take over. Yeah. But anyway, oh, that's when I wanted to 2 hours go by really fast when you're just ranting. But, that's what I wanted to kinda touch on. Um, Feel free to like and comment, of course, and, let me know if you have any stories, and I shall see you all Thursday.